And we move to the last session of the evening. They say you keep the best for the last, ma'am, that's why. We have Diya Mirza joining us, and the subject is going to be content with a conscience, a higher purpose for digital entertainment. And like you all know, Diya Mirza has always been verbal about her support to various causes that include Mother Earth, nature, and preserving everything that needs to be. So without wasting any time whatsoever, can I have the pleasure of welcoming Diya ma'am on stage, and RJ Rani will join us again.
So लाइफ में सिखाने वाले लोग बहुत मिलते हैं, ठीक है, लेकिन ऐसे लोग जिन्हें देखकर आप खुद सीख जाएं वैसे कम होते हैं. तो ये जो बैठी हैं मेरे साथ, इनसे मैं जब भी मिली हूँ, चाहे हमारी आमने सामने बात हो, आपके घर पर मुलाकात हो या फ़ोन पर हम बात कर रहे हैं, हर बार ये एक थॉट आता है मुझे कि जिस तरह से हम ज़िंदगी जी रहे हैं, क्या ये सही तरीका है? You really make me more mindful, conscious. वो फूड फॉर थॉट हमेशा देकर जाती हैं दिया. एक पर्पस कि आप जो भी कर रहे हैं खुद से पूछें कि ये क्यों कर रहे हैं और क्या ये सही कर रहे हैं. So undoubtedly you are one of my favorite person, not only in this industry, overall you are one of my favorite person दिया, and I'm sure आपकी भी होंगी बिल्कुल मेरी तरह. तो for beautiful दिया एक बार ताली होनी चाहिए, please.
Thank you, Rani. You're the best. Thank you.
So दिया, tell me, आप ये ऐसी ही हैं या मतलब क्या ये है क्या कि आप हर जगह you really try to make things better, फिर चाहे वो environment हो, उसकी बात हो, या humanity की बात हो, empathy की बात हो, जो भी हो, you always advocate कि जियो लेकिन purpose के साथ जियो. तो आप हमेशा से ऐसी थी?
It's a hard question to answer because it's a compliment, so let me accept it with grace and love. Thank you, Rani. I think when I was very young, I discovered that each and every one of us has the power to make a difference, that when we're all blessed or given agency, where we have the ability to rationalize, understand, and interpret what's good, what's bad, how we find a way to help and make things better. So, एक स्कूल फील्ड ट्रिप हुआ था जहाँ पे हमें पास के गांव में ले जाया गया था. वहाँ पे हमको गांव के बच्चों के साथ थोड़ा कुछ दिन बिताने थे, उनके साथ खेलना था, और उनको वो चीज़ें सिखानी थी जो हमको आती हैं, और उनसे कुछ चीज़ें सीखनी थी. तो इतनी खुशी महसूस हुई थी बचपन में उनको कुछ चीज़ें सिखाकर. जो हम लोगों ने थोड़ा ओरिगेमी सीखा था स्कूल में, तो उनको ओरिगेमी सिखा दिया. कुछ बच्चों को मैथ सीखना था तो मैथ सीख लिया, और उन्होंने हमको थोड़ी सी फार्मिंग सिखा दी थी, तो हमने खाना कैसे उगाते हैं वो सीखा था. It was such a powerful exchange and we were very young, and it really helped me understand that ये सब में है, ये potential to bring change or improve the lives of people by just sharing, by just caring, by just being there was very powerful. And I think once you become an artist, आपके empathy levels तो high होती हैं, you care so much and you feel so much, and the only way that you can feel less despondent or less frustrated or less upset is if you work on bringing change, positive change. So I do a lot of what I do so that I can feel less frightened and less despondent.
How sweet. So we are here to discuss OTT ने कैसे चीज़ें बदली हैं, and OTT की अगर बात करें तो इसके पास एक चीज़ जो है वो है freedom, right? कि आप पहले नहीं होता था.
अब तक, sorry.
है ना? हाँ, अब तक
शायद.
हाँ, मतलब लेकिन कहा तो जाता है ना कि जिस तरह की स्टोरीज हम नहीं देख पाते थे सेंसर बोर्ड की कैची की वजह से, आज वो आ रही हैं. लेकिन कोई भी आज़ादी, ये जो फ्रीडम ये कहे या अधिकार, वो अगर बिना किसी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के आए तो अंधा हो जाता है. सो ऑफ कोर्स देन OTT की भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है. आपको क्या लगता है क्या है वो?
You know, I was very excited when, with the emergence of OTT, I remember 4.5, 5 years ago thinking, wow, this is going to be a huge game changer. And it has been, right? Because it's opened up platforms, opportunities and avenues for so many storytellers, artists, writers, directors, cinematographers, editors. There's just so much more employment now. And of course, we're telling so many more stories. And yes, I agree with you कि space इसका ज़्यादातर democratic था और अभी भी ज़्यादातर democratic है और इसमें बहुत freedom भी हुआ करती थी आज भी शायद किसी हद तक है but we have experienced censorship and the bigger question is should there be censorship and I think that is the more important question because I think when we're, creating content in a democratic nation, which, entitles us with certain freedoms, that freedom must come with responsibilities. And we have to know what is fair to put out there. And, but we also have to respect the choice of the audience and let them choose what they would like to watch or not watch. I'm not always in favor of creating rules for storytellers.
Well, talking about audience, OTT के साथ दिया ये भी कहा जाता है कि
अगर आपको चाइल्ड लॉग लगाना है चैनल पे तो आप लगा सकते हो आपको किसी चीज़ पर it's all of that is possible today. So when we are creating censorship, the question we really need to ask ourselves is what are we censoring and from whom?
Absolutely. So हाँ इसी बात को मैं आगे बढ़ाऊंगी तो ऑडियंस की अगर बात करें तो OTT के साथ कहा जाता है दिया कि आज हर कहानी के लिए ऑडियंस है लेकिन जब आपका ऑडियंस इतना बड़ा है तो कहीं ना कहीं उस एक ऑडियंस के लिए एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी होती है सो OTT को मेजरली अभी तक अगर आप इसे एक मोटे कैटेगरी में डालेंगे तो वो इंसान जिसे ज़्यादा समझ नहीं है लेकिन हाथ में इंटरनेट और मोबाइल है और डाउनलोड किया हुआ एक ऐप है उसे सस्पेंस थ्रिलर डार्क क्राइम इसी से वो OTT को रिलेट करता है ऐसा मुझे लगता है आई कुड बी रॉन्ग सो यू थिंक वो बैलेंस कहीं ये एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है कि वो बैलेंस एक बनना चाहिए
It will happen automatically because and we're seeing it happen right now. I think a lot of the producers in the room will recognize what I'm saying, that the mandates start coming from the platforms that are augmenting the shows. You start, pitching certain ideas that are too similar to things that have already happened before, you will get an outright refusal for it. And there's also a very clear understanding of what the audience wants. And so apparently right now there's a huge trend for watching young stories. Everybody wants to tell younger stories about young people. So there's this big, boom of stories being told with 20-year-olds. And so people like me are finding it hard to be cast in parts. But it's exciting, it's interesting. How long will it last? We don't know. But so there was like जैसे शुरुआत जब हुई थी बहुत सारे गाली गलोच वाले shows आ रहे थे बहुत dark था ये था वो था and then lots of shows like that got made and I think we also tend to do that. If something works we tend to keep repeating the model until we realize oh god it's boring. We need to move, break the mold and do different things. So I think we also keep learning and discovering but yes unfortunately or fortunately there are mandates that start coming from the networks and the platforms based on what the audiences are going for.
सो आपका शो काफिर वो आपका डेब्यू था ऑन OTT आई रिमेंबर सो ऑब्वियसली एज एन एक्टर मैं आपका एक्सपीरियंस पूछूंगी कि फिल्मों में काम करना OTT में काम करना ऑफ कोर्स मतलब वो स्पेस थोड़ा सा मिल जाता है कैरेक्टर के लिए बट अदरवाइज भी क्या टेक्निकली कोई फ़र्क है एज एन एक्टर वो आप महसूस करते हो और जस्ट द सेम
I think the only difference was that we shot about 375 pages in 41 days.
Okay.
So actors in the room will know how much work that is per day. It was a lot of work every day, which was fantastic because it meant that our turnaround was really fast. We were moving really quickly, but we had the advantage of preparation. We'd done workshops. We knew the depths and the nuance of every scene. We obviously had a script that was fully and completely written well in advance. So all of that really helps. No difference, as far as I'm concerned, in filming for a feature film and filming for an OTT show in regards to being a performer. But I think it's just that when you're filming for a movie, you just have the luxury of more time in a day and you do a little less work. But when you're filming for an OTT show, you do a lot more work in a day. So थोड़ी कहते हैं ना गधा मजदूरी type situation हो जाती है. But it's, my God, I was in love with the story. I was in love with the part. I was just so happy to be at work. I had such a great time filming for Kafir, and I was just every day so abundantly grateful that we were telling that story. And yeah, I think stories like that come to you once in a lifetime. And they don't get replicated. You can't, there's not another Kafir that can be written. I mean, I wish Bhavani Iyer would write another Kafir, but she hasn't. So it's also, I think, when you do a show and you be a part of a show like that, I don't think film offers you the nuance and the depth and the space to really portray as much as you can in a show. Because here you have the time of 9 episodes, 45 minutes per episode, which is a lot of time for you to really get into like I said, the nuance of things, right? But in a film, you don't get that space and time. थोड़ा कम वक्त मिलता है.
ओके वक्त की बात करें तो इस इंडस्ट्री में एज एन एक्टर कहते हैं मतलब लोगों की अलग अलग फिलॉसफी होती होगी, लेकिन अभी पीछे कुछ सेशंस में अटेंड कर रही थी तो उसमें एक्टर्स कह रहे थे कि देखो पहले औकात बनाना ज़रूरी होता है कि आप चीज़ों को ना कह सको, अदरवाइज सर्वाइवल इस इंडस्ट्री में सबसे टफ है. व्हाट डू यू हैव, मतलब लाइक व्हाट डू यू हैव टू से कि आपने वो कुछ कि मैं ये करूँगी और मैं ये नहीं करूँगी, वो जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, वो जो आप उतनी कॉन्शियस हैं वाइल चूजिंग योर वर्क, या?
हाँ, औकात की बात तो पता नहीं मुझे, लेकिन मैं आई थिंक पिछले 15 सालों से मैंने हमेशा ये डिसाइड किया कि मुझे क्या करना है और क्या नहीं करना है. आई हैव ऑलवेज reveled in the strength of being able to say no. Fear is a very common thing that a lot of people experience, especially actors. And it's kind of ingrained in our minds over here because there's just so much ageism. The whole concept of, you know, you're going to get a lot of work while you're in your 20s and 30s, and once you cross 33, work is going to start drying up. There's all kinds of notions and concepts that are constantly drilled in your head, and there are enough and more people who are willing to make you feel very afraid and force you and limit you into believing that you have what is called a shelf life. And I don't believe actors have shelf lives. Artists will always be artists. Storytellers will always be storytellers. So as long as you can abandon and drop your fears and just live in the pursuit of growth, you will always have work.
Beautiful. So what do you think? आगे ये जो फ्यूचर है, ये जो फ्यूचर लेकर आया है एंटरटेनमेंट का OTT, इसके फ्यूचर पर आपको क्या दिखता है? ये दो राहें पर खड़ा है, इधर जाऊं या स्ट्रेट रास्ता है इसका?
अगर मैं ऑनेस्टली बताऊं तो आई थिंक वी आर इन अ वेरी ट्रिकी time right now when it comes to where we are at, because there are certain things that we celebrated about the OTT space that are disappearing. The democratization, the freedom, and the fact that OTT shows weren't limited by the stereotypes that cinema was limited by, or the fractures of fear that were created by the box office. We are experiencing similar things happening with people who are making OTTs, you know, driving the OTT platforms right now. And that's very unfortunate. I hope we can very quickly overcome that and go back to being genuinely free in every possible way. I just really hope we can do that.
Hope. फिंगर क्रॉस. सो ये लास्ट सेशन है एंड मैंने अभी पीछे लोग मुझसे शिकायत कर रहे थे कि यार सवाल तुम ही पूछती रहती हो, हमें तो पूछने का मौका नहीं मिलता. तो आई जस्ट आस्क द ऑडियंस, अगर आपके पास दिया के लिए कोई सवाल है. एनी क्वेश्चन? सबकी बोलती बंद है सब दिया आपको देखकर. नो? सो दिया, अगर आपसे मैं कहूँ, आजकल वो हैशटैग की लैंग्वेज बड़ी चलती है, ठीक है? सो सपोज OTT से आपको कम्युनिकेट करना हो इन हैशटैग लैंग्वेज, सो कौन से वर्ड्स हैं पीस ऑफ एडवाइस आपकी? हैशटैग बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल, हैशटैग ऐसे 2-3.
Hashtag be free.
बी फ्री.
Hashtag be responsible is a good one. I'd go with that, Rani. And hashtag be you. I think there's nothing more powerful than authenticity.
सो आई थिंक विल. कोई सवाल नहीं? यू हैव. या प्लीज.
Hi, Diya. So I'm from MX Player, and a core part of my job is to really get audience insights. So want to understand what is the content you like to consume, what is it that you like to watch, say in terms of genres, in terms of formats, what content do you like to consume, and do you get the time to consume?
Okay, it's hard to find the time right now. My hands and my heart is full. But for the time that I do get, I mean, it often happens that late into the night. So usually after 10, and unless I'm like bone tired, I will watch a show. I tend to gravitate towards stories that have very sharp and nuanced and intelligent writing, and obviously good performances. But more than anything else, I want the story to tell me something. I want to learn something from it, or grow with it, or be touched, deeply touched, or moved by it. Thank you.
Anyone else? So buzzer बजा दो.
हाँ.
और नहीं, मैं एक सवाल पूछ लेती हूँ. दे आर वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट. सो जैसे इन्होंने कहा कि आप कौन से शोज आप देखते हो, OTT पर वो आ जाते हैं, कैटेगरीज आ जाती है कि आप सेलेक्ट कर सकते हो, इजी हो जाता है आपके लिए. सो कौन सी वो एक कैटेगरी है, जॉनरा है, जहाँ आप सबसे ज़्यादा जाते हो?
Drama.
ड्रामा. इवन आई लव ड्रामा.
Yeah, I love drama. Life is drama.
सो कोई सीरीज जो आपने देखी है एंड आप रेकमेंड करना चाहेंगे यहाँ ऑडियंस में? बहुत पहले भी देखी हो तो भी चलेगा.
So I think one of my most favorite shows that I've watched in the last decade would be This Is Us.
This is us.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like,
Yeah, it was lovely. Lovely.
what powerful storytelling. What a beautifully told and made show.
So अभी आपने बताया था कि आपने मतलब 15 साल से, जितने साल से भी आप काम कर रही है, आपने ये डिसाइड कर लिया था कि मुझे क्या करना है, क्या नहीं करना है. So as an actor कुछ आप कंप्लीट करने दो. As an actor कुछ ये do's and don'ts हैं आपके?
No, it's not so much as an actor, it's just as a human being. What am I responding to? You know, is it the first thing that I respond to is the people who come to me with the story. Because I have to spend a lot of time with these people. I want to be able to respect them and like them. Otherwise, it's very hard. I also think with age, you become intolerant to irritating human beings, you know, egotistical, irritating human beings. So you want to be with people who you can have a nice time with and spend time working with and collaborating with. Second, of course, most importantly, is the story itself. Does it move me? Does it compel me to think and feel better? Does it, you know, shake my innards? Is there something about it that makes me feel, यार काश
अब वो जिद पे है.
मैं इस कहानी का हिस्सा बन सकती. So yeah, that desperate desire to be a part of that story.
I completely agree with you, क्योंकि इंसान चाहे कुछ भी बनना चाहे, उस पर बहुत असर पड़ता है उसके माहौल का. Yeah, no?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
और
बहुत
हम
ज़्यादा.
कहानी हैं, हम
Yes.
कहानियों से बनते हैं.
Yeah.
And जब when storytelling is such a powerful instrument of social change, positive social change, then why waste it?
Right. So बढ़िया माहौल बना है जी इस OTT का, and I just wish कि ऐसे events और होते रहें. Thank you so much Ad Gully for inviting me.
Thank you, Rani. Thank you, Ad Gully. Oh, you have a question?
I have a question. Okay. वो जाने नहीं देंगी.
That buzzer's gone off very loudly like 3 times.
Hi, I'm deeply inspired by your sustainable journey, so I have a question related to that. I try and do whatever I can in my little own ways, but I just feel sometimes it's not enough because, I mean, such a long way to go. So I'm sure you might be feeling in a similar way at a lot of times. So how do you sort of tackle that feeling and like what do you do about it?
Just keep doing what you have to do.
Or else meet her.
I'll give you an example. So when I started traveling with my metal bottle everywhere I went, this was about 7 years ago, I would get the looks from everyone. They'd be like, you take your bottle everywhere, even to a red carpet. And I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I get thirsty, I want to drink water. I'm not going to sip water from a plastic bottle. I haven't touched water from a plastic bottle in 7 years. So from being that odd, weird, only person carrying their own bottle, to now seeing absolute strangers at the airport with their metal bottle jutting out from their backpacks and their bags. It just feels so good. So I think when you are dispelling the norm and you're working to create a life of conscience, don't expect others to join you immediately. They possibly never will. Your job is just to be true to what you believe is right.
एब्सोल्युटली. इसका एक किस्सा मैं आपको सुनाती हूँ, बड़ा मज़ेदार. हमने इन्हें अपने स्टूडियोज़ में बुलाया था. वो बिग ग्रीन गणेश है, ठीक है. सो कैंपेन में तो होता है ना, सब कुछ खत्म हुआ तो एक गिफ्ट दिया. दिया को हमने, दिया ने ऐसे देखा क्योंकि वो प्लास्टिक के उसमें रैप था. आई नॉट टेक इट. नहीं
say like that. I said, आप ही रख लो.
प्यार से.
I didn't say, I won't take it like that.
And talking about bottle, actually मेरी प्लास्टिक की बॉटल तो इन्होंने छुड़वा दी है. So again, thank you so very much, Diya, for being what you are. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, lovely audience.